So this one might be 100% my fault. So I filmed everything in real time, and you can see my confusion as I'm going through it. But sitting here right now, after the problem's all done and taken care of, it's not really a big deal. I don't care about it. Whatever happened, happened. So I'll just let the video play out and you guys can see what I figured out, and then we'll talk about it at the end. So I was just wiping down the Tbr7 after washing it. So right here I hit this little rubber nub with my rag when I was cleaning it, and it came off. I don't know if I should drain it all out or what it is. So yesterday I was washing the bike and wiping down underneath by the rear shock, and right here there's a little rubber cap, and that is the bottom of your air box. So back over on the right side of your bike we have your air box, and this little hose here right behind the carburetor, it comes up out of the engine, and then that goes right into your air box here at the bottom. So that must be where the puddle of milky liquid is. So we're going to pull the airbox cover off, see what's going on. Now because it's an air-cooled bike, it's a little confusing because there's no radiator or liquid cooling, so where would the water come from? So when I first got the bike in the unboxing videos and after the first ride, I noticed a big gap right here in the plastics. So I noticed a lot of water and mud was coming up through there right into my air filter. So I sealed that up from the start, and that seems to be working pretty good for keeping mud and water out of there. One of my thoughts was that the water came in here and went down through the air scoop maybe, but I would be able to tell. The air filter would be trashed. So it didn't go through the top of the air box, so it got in somehow from the engine. So the only other thing I can think is yesterday when I rinsed it off with the hose, I did a quick rinse off. After I washed it, I took it down the street real quick, you know, pretty hard on it just to get it to air dry quick. And that's when I came back, was wiping it off and noticed the oil. So I don't know if just that quick washing it got water in the oil and then the ride blew it up into the air filter. So I'm going to pull the airbox cover off and lift the air filter out. So if there's a puddle, we're going to see how much is there. Right now I'm just hoping that somehow water got in there when I was washing it, and that's it. And I'll just never touch it with the hose again, I don't care. I still need to know where water got in, but... So all that milky liquid in the bottom of the airbox can't be good, right? If you remember when I first got the bike and unboxed it, this air seal wasn't even good, so I redid that. So everything's on hold as far as the carburetor change goes, until we can figure out where the water's getting in. So the bike's still pretty dirty all around the tank and stuff. You can see I didn't really force any water in there. So I thought I was being gentle with it. I didn't really hose it off too good. Here in the Tbr7 manual it says you can wash it. Regular garden hose. Avoid those areas. Wheel hubs, muffler, under seat. Alright, so let's see what the regular oil looks like. This is my first oil change. This isn't going very good. We are just making a mess. This is all, it's all bad. Panic, we need more containers here. We'll use the other half of this bottle. Oh, it's still, I don't know where to go, there's too many streams. This is horrible. What a mess. It's because of this stupid skid plate. I knew it was about due for an oil change, but I was definitely going to go probably another 100 miles, maybe 2. So this is the oil that came out of the bottom of the motor, and there's no milky liquid to that. So I'm guessing the milky liquid all got pushed through the overflow. Who knows? Sorry to put the side drain plug back in. I'm just pulling the bottom one to see if any more oil comes out. Too lazy to tip the bike left and all that. No, you didn't drop the screw in the jug, did you? Come on! One of those days, I guess. It's a deep socket, so I looked inside thinking, where'd that screw just go? I don't know how it would fit inside the socket, but... Oh, now I gotta dig around in there. Let's see if I can find a magnet. Let's see if I can magnet the drain plug back out of here. No? No? What is going on right now? So I just pulled the drain plug out of the bottom, and then it almost immediately disappeared. I was looking in the socket confused. I grabbed my magnet, sticking it down in this little container of oil. Nothing. Really confusing, right? Have you ever seen such a thing? Where the drain plug takes itself out of your socket and sticks itself to the skid plate off of the magnet on the drain plug. In other news, that doesn't look good. What would you be more concerned about, the metal shavings on the drain plug or the milky water in the airbox? I'm getting ready to fill the oil back up, and when I did my first oil change, someone was asking about the oil I used. The jug says it's for trucks and heavy-duty diesels, right? So if you look online at the motorcycle engine oil specifications, it's all JASOMA standard, like that's the spec number. So if you look on here, it meets all the specs you need, the JASOMAs, MA2s, and then I have another 1540 heavy duty here, and this one does not meet the JASO specs. Even though it's sort of the same heavy duty, we would run this in a scooter though, because it doesn't have a wet clutch. So we just ruined the threads on our dipstick. Only the ones on the end though, you don't really use those ones anyways. When I was looking around back in here, I was noticing more bad welds. I don't know if I showed this before, but down, let me see if I can get the light and the camera both there at the same time. Down at the top of that weld, I'd noticed that it goes right into the swing arm, and I thought that's not good. You kind of want your swing arm sealed up so water doesn't get in there. So if you go to the back of the swing arms, they have a big hole in them anyways, and then if you zoom in on that hole, what's starting in there already? Rust. And you know it's not a sealed swing arm anyways because the way this works on the back here. I mean, they could have at least put a couple of ears on here to make those stronger, but your swing arm's definitely going to start rusting out. So I'm going to put this stuff away, clean up. I said I'd show you the carburetor I got in the end of this video, so here it is. I don't even know if this is the right carburetor for this bike, so I wouldn't say go out and buy this yet. I was going to return it just because of the machining. Let's pull it open and I'll show you before I go in. At first the packaging looked really nice. It's better than just being thrown in a cardboard box like a scooter carburetor. But it's a 30 PWK. And it's a little different. The choke on this one I guess pulls all the way up and locks, so there's no half choke option. And this is the problem with buying Chinese stuff. Your instructions here. Let's just look at the major flaws from the start. A 2-choke setting, and here we have a 4-strike setting. And they don't even spell setting correct either, so. But 2 chokes and 4 strikes. So when I first got it, I wanted to make sure that this black knob was the choke knob because it looks different than the carburetor that's on the bike. If you look at the back of the package, it has your parts diagram here. So that would be a number 2. We'll go down to number 2. Absorbed base. Let's just check that again. Number 2. Yep, that's number 2. This little thing right there. Absorbed base. So even when you're trying to learn about stuff like this, and it doesn't make sense. Definitely raining out now. So the one reason I was going to return this carburetor as soon as I opened it was this side of the intake is not machined completely. It's polished and finished a little bit up at the end, and then all the way out they didn't finish it. So at first I was thinking all these holes are kind of rough, you should hit them with sandpaper, and then when I started looking at it and really looking at the machining, you can see the difference. Like I said, I spent hours on that forum site reading about these carbs, and the guys on there tell you to run a carb, and then if you look, they're running a different carb, and then none of it really makes sense. And I can figure out the scooter forums pretty good, you know, I'm pretty good on the R32 forum, but for some reason these China bikes. So for everyone out there who has Hawks and Tbr7's and already upgraded your carburetor, did I buy the right one here? Because I couldn't make any sense of it online. All the links that were on the forum were already dead and bad, so if you guys have any recommendations for jetting sizes, let me know. And then we'll probably get to that tomorrow. So I'm not really sure how the water got into the engine. I'm assuming now it was just me washing it with the hose, the water got in there, and then when I went for the quick air dry, it really blew it through the overflow into the airbox. I could have just went from the last upload of 175 mile review to my next upload, which is swapping the carburetor, and left this video out and never showed you guys the milky oil in the airbox, but maybe helping someone else out so they don't flood their oil with water. I still don't feel I did anything wrong, and I'm putting it out there just so everyone knows. Be careful washing your Tbr7, I guess. So let me know if you guys have upgraded your carb to the PWK, if I bought the right carburetor, if I didn't buy the right carburetor, I can't tell. I'll probably take it for a ride on the stock carb just to see what happens with the oil, the milkiness, and if everything's fine, then we'll proceed with changing the carburetor. But it's really just a coincidence that in one video it's for sale and then the next video there's milky white liquid in the airbox. I'm pretty sure you just ran out of fuel. So we went and got our mini bike fuel. You can tell it's mini bike fuel by the blueness to it. Mystery stuff, I don't even know what I'm putting in there, but I just dumped it in this Ajax thing because I didn't feel like carrying a gas can all the way down here. 0 of the rinsing out factor, so there's whatever Ajax soap was in here is in the fuel tank.